freezing in here. I gotta get you up here. Oh, let me put you over here. There's clothes all on the floor because I had to change like 5 times before I left. You know I can't. You know how girls are. We can't ever find nothing we're looking for. Y'all, I don't even know what to say, so I'm just gonna focus on protein because that's all I can do for me today. Okay? How about that? That's all I can focus on. Can't answer no questions. I can't come in for questioning. All I can focus on is my protein. What a day. Am I going to get service over here? Oh, apparently the Wi-Fi's working now. Oh, thank you. I've had this shirt for forever. Hello, Jamie Blake. Hello, y'all. I got to make protein. I don't exactly know what this is. I got stuff in bags everywhere. Anybody else? Anybody else got random protein? Alright. Let's just put a scoop in here. I need a heater. I'm freezing. It's cold. And it ain't even 70 degrees outside, is it? How cold is it? Can you see me? Alright. 69 degrees and I'm freezing. Like seriously, I need sweater and pants. Protein. I don't know. I got a new bottle. Hey, look, I got a new bottle. Hey, I got a new bottle. I went by Wally World. New bottle. That was all I grabbed though. Oh, and I got some electrolytes. Hold on. I ain't never had this kind before, so I figured we'd try it. And look at this shit. Y'all, you know how I was raving about how good the book bag is? I already got a hole in it, homie. It didn't even make it through one season. I'm going to open up a fabric factory, okay? Because they don't make quality nothing no more. This bag, it wasn't that much. It was like $35, I think. Love this bag. It's called SOG. It's got all these lovely pockets. Absolutely love it. It came from Walmart camping section. The only problem I've had is that I broke this off. It's supposed to go around your chest. It snapped. I'm sure that could be fixed. And now I have a hole at the top. It's probably because of how heavy everything is that I put in there. Electrolytes. Sorry, my house is a mess. It's not my house. This place is a mess. Oh, I don't even know where the electrolytes are right now, so never mind. I swear to God I bought some. Let's see here. How many ounces is that? 16 ounces? Hell no. Wait a second. 8 and 8 would be 16. That'd be 2 scoops. Okay, hell yeah. Let's see. I'm in love with the cocoa. Y'all remember when that song came out and they were throwing that stuff everywhere? So my meeting went really good. First of all, let me start from the beginning. I don't even know what to say about today. I will always stand on what I say. And matter of fact, more often than not, as the years go on, I will continually dig my toes in deeper to that heel. More often than not, it's very rare that I go back on something that I feel strongly about, like I do about my current situation. Do you get what I'm saying? So anyways, I've been under a lot of stress because, you know, your girl's been locked up for crimes 3 times that she didn't commit. So that tends to cause, you know, like PTSD. And I've been stalked at the same time. I've had stalkers. And so it's been a lot. I really haven't had time to process. I guess I'm just reiterating everything we've been through because I've got some stress relieved off of my shoulders today. So it's just sometimes I guess, you know how like you be stressed about something and then you get like a little resolution to your problem and it just like alleviates all of this stress off your shoulders. That's what I mean. And I haven't had any protein today. Oh, I had protein coffee. Premiere, I brought this to show you. Oh, my back, y'all. Oh my God. Did you hear that? I just made my box. Oh my God, that feels so much better. Let's see if I can do it more. Did you hear that? If you were wondering what I'm doing over here contorting my body, when I went to reach for the protein, I got all this relief when I started twisting, and then my lower back where I've been hurting popped. Heck yeah. Chiropractor who? So this is what I had for breakfast. This is really good, shaken up with just like ice cold milk. Okay. And then listen, if you're a caffeine junkie like me, that Nespresso. So make this protein, shake it up in your blender bottle, and then pour it over some ice, and then take you some Nespresso concentrate espresso and dump it on top. Oh my God. It is so, listen, it tastes, do y'all remember that like 1980s, 70s vanilla ice cream that had this like chocolate swirl through it? That chocolate had a particular taste, and it's like an old taste. It's got to date back to the 80s or 90s. It had this swirl in it. It had this particular taste of chocolate. Well, the Nespresso Mocha Cafe, it's concentrate. You can buy it. It's like 20 cups of coffee in a little bottle, and what it is it's espresso concentrate. And so you pour it into a teaspoon, and you can add water, milk, or whatever you want to it, or you can use it like an espresso shot, mix it with like a few ounces of water, stir it up, and pour it over your latte. I'm telling you, this is cafe latte, Walmart, and then the Nespresso is mocha from Walmart. 10 out of 10. Literally, it tastes like that fudge ice cream from the damn 70s or 80s. It's so good. It's literally my favorite drink right now, and I pour it over ice. So I'll make the protein, pour that over ice, and then take the Nespresso and pour it on top and sip on it. And it's also a pretty drink. It turns out pretty. So pretty. Y'all, I'm going to make protein. I'm feeling better. I ate a sandwich. I just ate a sandwich. So for those that don't know, when Brooke goes without eating, Brooke starts to have mental health problems. 100%. This stuff is not talked about enough. It's not talked about enough. How food and diet impacts mental health, man. People that are going without their basic needs being met, they're out there losing their minds on the street corner. Let me tell you. Half of them ain't even had a proper meal in probably weeks or months. Listen. Food plays such a part in how we operate, how we function. We need food for our bodies to function, for our brains to function, for our gut to produce dopamine. 50% of it's 40%, I think. 40 or 50% of our happy chemicals are actually created in our gut. So, you know, when you're not getting a proper diet, you're going to fall into depression, anxiety, all of that stuff is going to just, be worse. So I ate a sandwich, rotisserie chicken on seeded rye with spinach, garlic confit, and those caramelized onions. I ate that thing so fast. I'm going to go eat another one. And actually, I'm going to eat a piece of cake too with a glass of milk after I'm done with this protein. I have not been eating enough. I'm growing. So listen, I finally found out like the perfect rhythm. I need to like bulk up for like 2 or 3 days and then do a cycle ride, and then bulk up for 2 or 3 days and then do a cycle ride. I think because I have sugar level problems, it would be better for me to take a few days to like binge, not really, but like bulk, healthy, a clean bulk, and then like eat a good breakfast and lunch for a night cycle. Well, it's getting cold now, so I need to be cycling during the day. So eat a really good breakfast after like 2 days of bulking really good to get my strength up, because I mean, just with all of the instability, I never know when I'm going to be able to eat. So it's been really hard. But I've gotten this rhythm of realizing that I'm starting to grow. I'm starting to see gains because I'm focusing so much more on protein and eating. Those cycle runs that I'm doing, like 25 miles and over, you don't want to do that. Like, you know, remember when I lost my truck and I hit the streets, I was having to cycle 20, 30 miles a day just for food and water all over the city to get food and water. And that, like, jumping into that, it's crazy. It's absolutely crazy. Cheers. I think it's chocolate nitro with creatine. Ooh, I like the new bottle. Listen, I forgot to show you. Linda, listen. I hope it don't make a mess when I open it. It's got this revolutionary hole in the top. Walmart. $11, I think. So it doesn't have that ball in the bottom that's like boing. You know, that thing used to drive me crazy because that cup would be in my book bag. And so I'm on the bicycle and all I can hear is that damn blender ball just like bouncing around. You know, even when we lived in the truck, remember, it would be in the passenger floorboard and I'm like, oh my God, you guys, that blender bottle's getting on my nerves. Like, I'm really glad for peace, okay? For peace, because I don't get much of that. And when you know you're having a bad day when your blender bottle is getting on your nerves. That's sad. But it's so true. Like, you know you're in too deep when your blender bottle is pissing you off. All the racket it's making with that metal ball inside. Because if you're driving in a car or you're on a bicycle, there's no liquid in there, it just beats around the cup and it sounds like a pinball in a pinball machine. It'll drive you insane. It's like listening to damn kids fight. Yeah, so that sandwich was good. Hey, Janie and Christy. My eyes, listen. It's going to be 48 degrees tonight. Like, literally freezing. Cheers. Hey, Miss GT. My blender bottle noise. I love my blender bottle noise. You are insane. You are insane. You like smoke alarms and fire detectors. You just love it, I bet. It's like people that like those clocks that go off every 15 minutes. You ever seen those ship clocks that go off every 15 minutes? It's hard to sleep through things like that for me. That's funny. You got to be kidding me, Maz. That's hilarious. You're psycho. That's funny. Yeah, I got some relief. Like, I just feel better now about these court dates. Listen. Prior to the situation with my daughter, I would have never thought this possible. Like, I knew that I'd been, like, pulled in the holding cell and beat the hell out of me by the cops. And I knew that police brutality was a thing because I had experienced it several times. I mean, they pulled me out of a cop car by my throat one time, shaking me like a rag doll with my feet dangling off the ground. I couldn't have weighed no more than 110 pounds. And I was essentially a child with a drug problem. But, nevertheless, I've experienced some things. I knew that y'all know I cover cops here. We talk about a lot of crooked cops over here. We see both sides. There's good cops, bad cops. But I knew that the cops could be corrupt. I never realized how corrupt the entire court system was. But also CPS and these government agencies. So, it's a lot. It's a lot. And I still have not even begun to heal from all of this, like, at all. Because I'm still in survival mode and I'm still being traumatized. So I can't even begin to heal because I'm being re-victimized daily when I'm on the damn streets dealing with people, whether it's stalking, whether it's having my tires slashed, whether it's having businesses that I go into be pestered and harassed and their Google reviews. I don't understand, It's been really difficult, and living through all of this has been really hard. I need to focus more on food and diet. Every time I miss a meal, I start to spiral, and my whole day is shot. Every single time. There is not a day that I've skipped a meal that I've had a successful day. I've been doing a self-study for like 2.5 years. So if you've been following this channel, you probably know what I say is true. Because y'all be like, Brooke, have you ate today? Y'all be like, have you eaten? Have you eaten? What'd you eat? You need to go eat. So clearly, y'all have even spotted it. This behavioral pattern that I have, where I get so stressed out, I miss food, I get hypervigilant trying to fix the situation, I start to spiral, and then things are just 10 times worse. And I'm a babbling brook. You know? Yeah, I say this because I just want to put into like perspective people that you might see on the street corner, or people that you might think has a drug problem, and in all actuality, they haven't eaten in a while, nor had their other basic needs met. They haven't showered. Do you know what that does to a person to go days without showering? It just throws you into a depression. It really does. It throws you into a deep depression. Go 4 days without showering and then get back to me. I promise you, it'll send you to a place psychologically that if you've never been there before, it's a new place and it's not a happy place. And the longer you go without showering, brushing your teeth, washing your face, the worse that gets. Not to mention getting irregular sleep on concrete, okay? Or a lot of homeless people, y'all have seen this, I can't sleep at all. You know, I'm up working out because I'm scared to sleep because of all the stalking, you know. So a lot of people, homeless people, are like that. They fear for their lives. Somebody was telling me a story, interesting enough, earlier, and they were talking about a homeless man that slept on the police station grounds, right out front. And so I made the comment, I was like, yeah, you know, they probably didn't do drugs and alcohol. They were probably sleeping there for their own protection. And this person told me that this person used to have essentially a really good truck driving job. He had a CDL and he was working a good job. And then I guess the economy, you know, truck driving, it's had lots of problems. It started during COVID. We saw what happened with that, and thank God for all of our truck drivers, because they kept the country fed and clothed, and all of our supplies got to us, and it was because of them. So, but the industry is not what it used to be. And matter of fact, more often than not, a lot of these driving CDL schools are scams. They're roping these young high school men. Let's not forget that was the #1 graduating job for high school men for like 20 years. CDL truck driving. That if you graduated high school, more often than not, you were going off to get your CDL if you didn't go off to college. It was the #1 sought after job for like over 20 years for high school graduating men. So that's how big the industry was back in the 60s, 70s, 80s, you know, 90s. They've used this opportunity like they use all opportunities to scam everybody and make money. And so a lot of these truck driving schools are roping these children into not only contract for rigs, which are hundreds of thousands of dollars nowadays, can be up to hundreds of thousands of dollars, but they're also getting crapped on mileage. They're getting crapped on their loads. There's supposed to be some kind of certain, like, listen, I just know what I read, and y'all know I got holes in my brain, so... You know, I just know that it's turned into a scam, and you got to be very careful. And that is actually because of the influx of new drivers. Old drivers are being pushed out of the business. They're not even being sought after, even though they have 34 years of experience, because they're asking for pay that is respectable, as they should. And other drivers, they've taken on a debt, and they're working off their debt for the company, therefore. That's my basic understanding. So if I got something wrong, please tell me. But hey, Ash. Oh, thanks. Thank you. I had a good day. How have you been? No, this is not my apartment, but thank you for asking. Yeah, so anyways, this guy had a really good job. Something must have happened. The economy, rent. Maybe he said rent went up. That's a possibility. And essentially, he was sleeping out front of the police station. So sad. So apparently this group of community citizens got together. I actually love this story. This group of community citizens that have a business downtown, they decided what happened was I do believe this man's daughter passed away in another state, and you know, he wanted to go to her funeral. Breaks my heart, y'all. I mean, it's just so sad. So he wanted to go to her funeral. I think he reached out for help, or he knew somebody in the building, and pretty much the community of these businesses, these office people, they got together and helped get him a ticket and clothes and showered so he could go to his daughter's funeral. How heartbreaking. You're homeless and your daughter passes away in another state. After you lose your job and your home, I mean, Jesus Christ, tragedies in 3. Can the man get a break? Like, when is he supposed to get a breather? I know they say that the Lord can't put, but he won't put more on you than you can handle, but I'm just saying, Jesus, that's a rough one, man. That's a rough one. But apparently, he's off the streets now. He worked with a community program that was able to get him, I think, a job and housed and back on his feet. Rent is still ridiculous for no damn reason, you know. Question: what is a buyer's market means? A buyer's market means, and a seller's market means. Listen, this is the riddle of the day. My brain hurts from trying to figure this out, and I'm not going to Google it because this is like one of them toy puzzles that's made out of wood. I've got to figure it out. So a seller's market would be when it's in the benefit of the seller, right? And hold on. Let me take a sip and cook. Hold on. I'm digging my ditch. Hold on. A buyer's market would be in the benefit of the consumer, right? And that would mean that they get the pick of the lot. There's plenty of houses to go around. And then a seller's market would be, Jesus. Y'all, I'm trying to quit smoking. It ain't working. Come on, my 2 little brain cells, they won't, I mean, they're trying to fire up. I see them rubbing up together up there, but they're not working. Does anybody know? Okay, good for a buyer, good for seller. Oh, so it's a buyer's market. So it's good for the buyers. And that's what I was getting at. That was my best uneducated guess. Uneducated guess. Well, apparently I have been seeing stuff going around talking about we're in a buyer's market. There's too much inventory. There's too many houses and nobody can afford anything because everybody's been financing everything on credit cards, and now their damn cars are being repossessed. And I don't even know how they're going to get to work. Because if you take the damn light rail in Charlotte, you might be stabbed in the throat. I'm being for real, but like, I'm sorry to laugh, but dark. Felonious humor. Too soon. It's too soon. I should have gave it 6 months. I'm sorry. How messed up. Like, seriously though, nobody can afford a house. We can't even afford food. We can't even afford food. Supply and demand. We can't even afford food. Y'all saw that woman in Charlotte from Ukraine? She was a refugee from, she was in the heart of the war, honey. She's seen a few things at 23 years of age. Absolutely gorgeous. Looked like a model. What was she doing here? The honorable thing. She was working at a pizzeria. Drop dead gorgeous. Working at a pizzeria, working long shifts into the night hours. She got off of work, downtown Charlotte, uptown, got on the light rail, sat down, and 30 seconds later, the guy behind her pulled out a pocket knife and shanked her in the throat. As everybody else looked on and acted like nothing was happening. You know what frustrates me the most about these cases is I wish I could have been there, you know? Like, seriously. Like the woman that got set on fire, the homeless woman that got set on fire in New York, or the man that got raped on the subway in New York recently by another man. Don't let me catch you out here, honey. Don't be committing no crimes in front of me, because I'm gonna go straight feral. Not Will Ferrell. This ain't no elf. This is a monster. Like, seriously. It's really just concerning, all of these random acts of violence. And I mean, things have always been dangerous, but I really do think that they've gotten worse. I really do. In the past 5 years, I do think that crime has gotten worse. Even though they say it's down. But if it was down, then why do we got to send in the National Guard? I saw the unedited. Where did you listen, Ty? I probably shouldn't watch that because it'll really bother me. It makes it more personal, just knowing what kind of pain she went through. I was really hoping that she didn't see it coming. Where did you see that? Sorry. I want to know if she was struggling to breathe. I guess if you can tell me that, if you can answer my question. Did it look like after she was stabbed that she was gasping for air? Did blood start to come out of her mouth? Can you see that in the surveillance footage? Because if that's the case, then this was, I won't post it on here, but I'm curious. It was gruesome. So it wasn't a silent crime. She was gagging on blood and dying, of course, but because she, my thing is it wasn't silent. That's my thing. What pisses me off is that everyone on that train ignores what is happening. And I've been saying from the start that those people intentionally ignored this crime so that they did not have to get themselves involved. This would have not been silent whatsoever. And so the fact that those people sat there and the media portrays it as nobody knew what was going on the train until he was exiting the train is absolutely preposterous, because it would have been so loud. She would have been at the very after impact, she might not have been able to scream. However, she would have been gargling up blood. There would have been noise. His body movement, her body hitting the ground. It would have been a commotion in there. The fact that they're trying to say that no one tried to help her because no one saw it is crazy, because the footage that we have that is blurred, you can see that not only are there people in the back of that train, cart, whatever, but there's people to the right of her that was sitting right beside her. That's 2 feet, fam. Have you ever been in one of them crappy little trains? 2 feet. There was people in front of her. There was the guy behind her. He was 1 seat behind her over. These carts were 2 cart, okay? And then there's like 2 feet for people to walk down. There was people back in the cart. There was people on the side of the cart. There was people sitting beside her. There was people in front of her. And then he was behind her with a knife, and you can see him pull it out of his pocket. He opens it up. He stands up, and he leans over her. She was assaulted from behind. She never even saw what was coming. I'm sure, I've been in some pretty dangerous accidents, and I will say that the thing about, I've never been stabbed, but the thing about something like that, typically the nervous system or the adrenaline takes over. I guess your nervous system tries to protect your brain, and you don't not necessarily feel the pain. You just know that something's happened, but I would imagine that it's like an out-of-body experience. Like, I don't know how I'm trying to say. Maybe we should venture into that one day, what it feels like to get stabbed or shot, because what I'm trying to say, I know, people have reported this. This is what I'm trying to say, but I don't know how to say it. I don't know. I hope that her body went into shock. I hope that she didn't know what happened. I hope that it was quick, but unfortunately, they're saying that it wasn't. They're saying the same thing that Ty said, that it was absolutely gruesome. He stabbed her 3 times, I do believe, and she knew but couldn't do a thing. God. Y'all, it makes me sick. What the hell? It's crazy, because let's think about this for a minute. This guy, who was 35 years old, who had a problem, a history of substance abuse problem, history of mental health problems, history of robbery, violent offenses, assault, okay? We're the same people. We're the same people. That's my same. I don't have robbery. I'm not, I'm a hard worker. But you get what I'm saying. Society deems me an ex-drug addict, so I have a history with drugs, just like this guy, okay? Society deems me as a violent offender, just like this guy. Society deems me as having, I do have mental health problems. Society deemed him as having mental health problems, okay? They let him out on bond. He just signed himself out, okay? For crimes that I did not even commit, my bond was $25,000 last October. Make it make sense. But I bring this up to mention that how they've treated me is typically how we would see or want a career criminal to be treated. However, I'm not a career criminal. I changed my life like a decade ago. I'm sorry society hasn't like caught up yet and got on board and accepted it. You know, like how many years am I going to be punished for something that happened in 2009? Anyways, we are the same kind of like background, okay? We have the same kind of history, okay? He's homeless, I'm homeless. He's had a horrible upbringing, same fam, foster care over here. However, the judges in Charlotte deem him not a risk to society and let him just sign himself out. And my bond set at $25,000 for something I didn't do. I mean, it's just broken. And those are two different counties, but the system is extremely broken, is my point, I guess. And I guess what I'm also saying is that once you have a criminal past or you've committed crimes in the past, your chance of being arrested for crimes you did not commit skyrockets. Skyrockets. Yeah. So don't get caught breaking the law and you don't have nothing to worry about. It's really easy, actually. That's part of the reason that I'm on a soapbox half the time screaming at the police, because I know I'm not doing nothing wrong. I know what changes I've made. I know who I am today. I didn't know who I was 20 years ago when I was a kid, you know, and this all began, but I do now. And when me and the cops are getting into it, well, y'all know, I don't need to explain. Y'all follow me because y'all agree with the whole cop thing. That's one thing that I know most of my followers agree with me, is how the cops overstep their boundaries and the government oversteps their boundaries. So I don't need to say anything. I've caught it on camera. I can't even pull up to a city park without the damn police pulling in 2 minutes later pestering me. So, you know, it's just, it is what it is. And that's a combination of things. 1, because I have a channel. 2, because I have a past criminal record. 3, because they don't believe that people can change, which is why they don't more often than not. And also because I've been homeless. Ty, thank you so much. Mr. Grant. I have to call the cops. My life depends on it and my freedom. So let me break this down. So if I don't call the cops, then I have no way to get myself off from fake charges. Thank God I called the cops. Bro, when that kid started stalking me, how many times did we call the cops that first day? I don't remember, but I know that they made contact with him and they were like, leave her alone. And then they made contact with him again. Remember, I got him on camera getting pulled over in that blurple car. Remember? And what, didn't we make contact with them again that day? I think that we did. I need to go back and watch that footage, but when do I have time? Like, oh God. I'm gonna do it. I gotta write a statement tomorrow. Not a statement. I gotta write some shit tomorrow. A statement. Yeah. I had to go in for a deposition. Please, God, no. I plead the fifth. I plead the fifth. Shit, I ain't gotta plead the fifth when I'm telling the truth. No, that's the problem, though. They locking people up around here for shit they don't do now. So you might as well just plead the fifth, because anything you say, they gonna twist it to make sure they got something. It's crazy. It's a crazy-ass world. These things have gotten so much worse since COVID. So much worse. Yeah, and thank God I called the cops and make reports. Thank God. Oh, well, thank you, Ty. I don't understand. Yeah, it was. You know, and the crazy thing is, the kid, he gets me arrested for cyber stalking. I can't even make this stuff up. It's so unbelievable. I mean, it's laughable. I have to laugh because, yo, they could like, I could sit down with somebody and I could just like do this all day long. It'd be like the craziest novel. You'd never believe it was an autobiography if I wrote it. You'd be like, yep, she's off her meds, but she forgot to take her magnesium. Yeah, it was crazy. And then I go down to the magistrate's office, and they won't even hear me out. He says, you're coming down here to file stalking charges against this guy because you're getting him back. You're doing this in retaliation. I said, sir, this kid, should I just tell you? I don't know this person. I've never met this person. It's just some random person that found me on the internet, found out that we lived in the same town together, I suppose. And I'd be out on my cycle ride, and this kid just pops up, blaring the horn, circling me like a vulture, So thank God I called the cops. I think I even said, oh God, you guys, we got... This was the day after I got the other stalker arrested. I remember now. So you remember the guy in the black Jeep that was stalking me? The one that had serious assault charges for maiming and castrating a woman? First of all, we still ain't figured out what that could be. I wonder if he force-fed her birth control or something, because it said non-malicious maiming and castration. He also had assault on a female, assault with a deadly weapon. All three charges was stemming from the same incident, dating back to, I think, 2011. So it had been a while. He had also had a few speeding infractions and I think assault on a government official or resisting an officer, something like that. But he found me online too. And he was stalking me all over town. And, hey, John. Thank you again, Ty. That is a blue dress. It's not the one that Bill Clinton had on. It's not that blue dress. It's not the Monica dress. Oh man. So this guy's following me around town in this black Jeep, and I filed, I don't know, I think I called the cops. I don't know, man. I don't even know. A dozen times on this guy. He stalked me for 2 months. He was the first one that started stalking me when I become actually homeless on the streets and I was sleeping on the streets. So, finally, after 2 months of being stalked by this one guy, he's finally arrested right in front of me at a stoplight. Can't make this shit up. You know, the irony is the cops had actually come through the parking lot. They had a warrant for him. I went to a magistrate. He had took out a warrant for stalking because this guy kept just coming and following me at work. Everywhere I'd go to cycle, he would just come on the bicycle and just chase me around. And he was antagonizing me too. He's like smoking weed and doing crazy stuff. Anyways, so I saw him on a street corner, downtown Madison, next to the coffee shop, like one street up. And I was like, no way. So I called the cops. Well, they were busy that morning. So I was like, well, I'm going to get back to my cycling. I'm sure we'll run into each other in this little stoplight town, you know. They'll find me. And the police, I'm literally riding towards the police station. So then the cop shows up and they're like, have you seen him? Did you see which way he went? I was like, no, I haven't. And I'm still on live with you guys. Pay attention. I'm still on live with you guys. And y'all see that I'm talking to a cop. I actually cut the voice thing off, talked to them, and then they took off. It was not even a few minutes later. I look up, and this asshole is the guy that was stalking me. He's sitting at the stoplight. Literally a few hundred yards away. And I'm like, this is unbelievable. I was like, you guys, there's my stalker right there. About that time, the cops drive up in behind him and blue light him into a gas station parking lot and arrest him on the spot. So then the next day, I'm like, yay, I can get back to cycling and living my life. Nobody knows who I am. Okay. And here comes this other youngin'. I am old enough to be this boy's mama, and clearly somebody ain't doing a good job. Put me in, coach. So, you know, then the next day, this little boy rolls up in a Subaru chasing me around town. And I do believe it was 3 times in one day that I made 3 reports in one day, that first day. And, you know, I ain't got a car. How am I supposed to get 20 miles down the road to file a warrant on some kid that I don't have his name, I don't have his address, I don't have his birthday? And the cops just let that shit go. They act like he's going to stop. They don't understand these people like I do. They don't stop. And matter of fact, they get off on it. They absolutely do. The fact that they can get by with it, and that's why they do, because the cops do not understand these types of crimes. They don't understand that. For instance, let me explain something to you. So this kid took out a warrant for me for cyber stalking. Do you not understand that he is getting his jollies off by being able to have contact with me in court? Because I can assure you he is. This is a sex crime. Just like the guy in the Jeep, the guy in the Subaru, these are sex crimes. These are cyber sex crimes. We really need to start making change. It's crazy. It's crazy. And they're rewarded through the court system for their behavior. They get to actually meet the victim in court in some manner, even if it's just seeing her or him across the pew and across the courtroom. When would he ever have the opportunity to interject himself into my life otherwise? We all know that would never happen. These types of perpetrators absolutely get off on this. And it's sad that the court system is not set up to accommodate victims of sex crimes so that they don't have to feed into this predator behavior, because that's what it is. This is voyeurism, just like the kid that followed me around the Roses and Chinese food parking lot that day. Remember that young kid that was in the blue Jeep? Oh, I've got stories for days, honey. And we've been out here for 2.5 years just beating them off with baseball bats, okay? They're crazy. They're crazy. And it's the porn industry. It's rotting their damn brains. That is scientifically proven. It rots the gray matter. They don't know how to control their urges. And then they see some girl working out and they absolutely go apeshit. And then I might look like the girl next door, but unfortunately, I'm like the Hulk next door. So the best thing to do is leave me alone. Okay? They don't get the reaction they're looking for, and then they get angry. How many men have you seen berate me, cuss me out, call me all kinds of dirty stuff? And, you know, and it's because they didn't get the reaction that they were expecting. It's crazy. That's perverse. That's lust. They can't control themselves. Y'all see that short that I posted of the guy that was in the bathroom that was caught looking at the girl through the bathroom stall? Did y'all see when he comes out? First of all, I think he was on drugs. Y'all see the eyes? That's the scariest pair of eyes I've ever saw. When he turns around at that urinal and looks, honey, he is scary. So anyways, this guy was caught in the bathroom staring at a girl half naked as she was about to pee. She confronted him, called law enforcement. The cops come. He's looking crazy. When he comes out of the bathroom, from the body camera footage that we have from law enforcement, you can physically see him not be able to control his urge to act like a weirdo. He is literally staring at the victim, and he is salivating at the mouth, licking his lips, smiling, and he's got the craziest eyes. He literally cannot stop looking her up and down. He looks crazy. So that is, in my opinion, not only was he on drugs, probably some form of methamphetamine, cocaine, maybe crack. And I've talked about this before with those drugs in particular, things like speed, uppers. They heighten the risk of sexual crimes being perpetrated against you. It's very dangerous. They're some of the most methamphetamine, people that use methamphetamines, they're some of the most dangerous, unpredictable sexual predators. Also, crack, it's known to cause people to, not be able to control their urges, so those drugs absolutely add a layer to the onion of sex crimes, but he was physically incapable of controlling himself is the whole reason I posted that video. And you can even see when the victim, there's the perpetrator who was spying on the girl, the cop, and then the victim. And you can see when the victim is talking to him and addressing the fact that he's a pervert and he's a weirdo, you can see him smiling. You can see him getting the jollies off. Once again, negative or positive, they just want an interaction with the victim. They already know more often than not, when they're taking these risks to interject themselves into your life, they already know more often than not that they're going to get a negative response, but they genuinely don't care. And I think more often than not, they kind of get off on it because they're not even screwed right to start with. You know, voyeurism leads to, I mean, this is voyeurism. That's what he was doing. A peeping Tom is voyeuristic, and it's, in my opinion, it's a great predictor of future crimes. I think a lot, not most, I don't know, I would have to like dig into some stats. I think a lot of sexual predators start off with voyeurism. I think they're peeping Toms to start with, and then I think that escalates into other nefarious sexual behavior. And then, you know, if you do drugs and you already have that perversion, you're not going to be able to control yourself more often than not, which is why you catch this guy with bug eyes looking like a Bug's Life character up in the women's bathroom, you know? What a creep. Did y'all see that? I mean, when he turned around, if I would have walked up in that bathroom and he would have been in there, I would have just turned around and ran out. He was so weird. I seen this Walmart. Yes, wasn't it? Is that Joni? I like that name. Oh God, are y'all arguing about porn? Yeah, the blue Subaru. That's the kid that took out a warrant on me. Well, as it just so happens, when I got out of one meeting, I was on another meeting, and this is a suable offense. But how much money you think an 18-year-old brat has living with his mom and daddy, potentially still going to high school? Listen, but here's the thing. Listen, I don't learn. So, listen, I don't learn. There came a point where I actually sat down with you guys and I said, I don't want to mark this kid because he just turned 18. Do y'all remember that? Does anybody remember me saying that I did not want to press charges against this kid for stalking because I did not want to mark him as a criminal because I knew that it would be impossible, or it would be a strike against him and look bad at the very least on a resume? Does anybody remember that? It's crazy. It's crazy how things happen. Because, thank you, somebody. I know there's a video of it. That's why I'm asking. Because I know there's a video. So I'll go find it when I go through a manic episode or something. And I'm out on my bicycle the next morning. After saying this on live the night before. And I'm served with paperwork for essentially cyber stalking. It is cyber stalking. It's just so unbelievable. It feels weird coming out of my mouth. Like I have to tiptoe around it kind of because it's just so crazy. It's so crazy. I know one day when I'm like 70, I'm going to be like, man, remember them like really bad 15 years we had? 20. Remember them 25 bad years we had? Man, the struggle to get here. I know it'll all be worth it in the end, but it's so unbelievable. Part of the reason I started picking up a camera is because I started forgetting. I go through so many traumatic episodes like this, I've started to forget. When you're getting impacted psychologically over and over, you know, you're falling into homelessness, you're falling into drug addiction, you get sober. That's not rewarding. Society punishes you even more because you used to have a drug problem, even though you're clean now. Like, it's just so much. Like, society doesn't want people to change. They make it damn near impossible, if you ask me. And when people do finally change, society denies the change because they're not used to seeing it. It makes them feel uncomfortable. It makes them self-evaluate, okay? There's multiple reasons why society can't accept change in others. In my opinion, the majority of it stems from self-hatred, lack of identity. But that's just my opinion. But there's, psychologically speaking, there's multiple reasons why, blah, 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 blah. Well, the last time I rode, I almost broke my hand. And it wasn't a motorcycle, it was a bicycle. Yeah, it's getting better, though. I do think that it's a green splint or something. I think that I fractured the bone on my palm. It's been over 6 weeks, and it's still not healed. It actually hurts. I got a splint somewhere. I need to finish this. Who doesn't accept change? Oh, yeah. Yeah. Where they are. I agree. Girl, Pisces, Virgo, rising. I'm so sorry. 68 years young, girl. I was a child bride at 14, and it was one hell of a ride. The last 20 have been so much better. So you finally left the situation, or, well, I'm sure you're 68 now, so he was aging, you were aging. How old, do you mind me asking, how old was he when y'all got married? That's so creepy. I don't care if he was even 16. If you didn't want to marry him, it's wrong. I had content coming on child brides, and I need to do that some week. Maybe this week, maybe tomorrow, we can get outside. I haven't been outside since I got here, and y'all know why. So maybe tomorrow we can get out and spend the day outside somewhere doing something. I need to get in some cycling time. I'm going to eat again later and stuff my face with cake and stuff. Well, it's sugar-free. He was 39. That is creepy. It's still common. It's still happening all over the world. It's crazy to me because here in the West, everybody wants to talk about slavery. Do you know that there's slaves all over the world still? It's a bigger problem now than it was back then. I mean, and I agree. Slavery, y'all know. So, but it's still a problem. It's still a problem all around the world. We ended that here. Did we? Or did we just create a whole new form of it? Listen, don't get me started tonight. I can't be having mathematical equations pop up in my head because I ain't got my little 2 brain cells. They're overworked and underpaid. For real, though. It's happening all over the world. Child bride, arranged marriage, honor killings. I had stuff coming on. And we have talked about a few cases of families that moved here from the Middle East, and their fathers were going to marry them off at a young age. Who brings their child to the West? Who moves their entire family to the West from somewhere like Syria or Iran or somewhere, I don't know? Who moves their family here and then expects and raises their children in Western culture? That's the big thing. You raise your kids here, and then you think that you're just going to pull them out of high school and as a freshman and send them on a boat to Egypt? Absolutely. That's absolutely what they think, and that's absolutely what they do. Did y'all see the college? And that was a high school girl, wasn't it? Y'all told me, and I forgot. There was a girl that was on campus. I don't know if it was a high school or a college girl, and her parents showed up and tried to murder her. Fam, her father, let me tell you how gruesome this was. Trigger warning, because the video is horrific. I've watched it several times. It's one of the most disturbing things to think about, this being your flesh and blood, your baby girl. And you got your whole body, his legs, his arms, he had his whole body. So I think they were Muslim. They might have been, what's the other one? Islam. They might have been, yeah. So he shows up to her campus. They have words, and he immediately starts choking his daughter. He gets her down to the ground. He bear hugs her with his arms and his legs around her, squeezing her to the point that her arms are locked in and they start convulsing. You can actually see her dying. She's dying. That's what's happening. So this poor girl is being killed by her father in the presence of her mother and sister. Her sister is hysterical. People, I don't know if it was a high school or I don't know if it was a high school or if it was a college campus, but people hear the commotion, friends of this girl's, and they come running to beat the hell out of the dad. They're kicking him in the head, they're choking him, they're trying to pull him off of her. It takes like, I think 3 or 4 people to get this man off of his daughter. And at this point, she's completely unconscious. She hasn't had air in maybe a few minutes. I would say maybe a minute to a minute and a half, 2 minutes. I mean, he's been on her and he's had her on the ground, and like he's taken hits to the head and he still won't let her go. It's a vicious attack. I mean, he was this close to killing her because he had her on the ground complete. I mean, you can see her arms and she's convulsing. I mean, he's literally killing her. Yeah, so the story was him and his wife came here. I think it wasn't Egypt. That was the Yazar Sadid case. That was Egypt. I think they were from Egypt. The father that shot his 2 daughters in the back of the taxi. I don't know where these people were from, but they were gonna mail. I mean, yeah, they were gonna mail her on a plane to some man. And she pretty much told her father she had a boyfriend. He was pissed. She had been to this country to visit, and she was not excited about this arranged marriage. And yeah, I'm trying to remember the name. I can't remember names. I go through, y'all, I ain't got no memory. I can barely remember my name. And unfortunately, when I was a child, my mama taught me my social security number. So that's taking up space up there, and I can't get rid of that. I wish I could buy gigabytes for my brain. See, I'm sure we will be able to one day. Oh, how creepy. So, I can't remember. The Yazar Sadid is a really terrifying case, too. He came here from another country, and he was going to mail you raised your daughters in, like, New York or something, or Texas, and you expect them to just take on Egyptian culture or Muslim culture? I mean, it's crazy. And they do. And that's the thing about these types of religions. Some of them can be quite concerning because the way that they view humans and the rights of a human, women, they view them as property. The Quran is not respectful to women in the slightest. It's one of the most darkest, disturbing things I've ever gandered at. It quite frankly, every time I start anywhere in it, I can literally start anywhere in it, crack it open anywhere, and it's disturbing. And so, when you have stuff like this being pushed into the men to treat the women this way, or to raise the women this way, or to gear the women this way, whatever you want to call it, it's not good. And it's absolutely wrong for someone to go to another country, birth children, raise those children who have essentially assimilated better than parents. I mean, they were raised there, so they were raised in Western culture. They didn't have to assimilate. They were born here. They are Americans, So it's preposterous to think that you would come here, birth children, raise those children in American culture, and then expect them to have the customs of Afghanistan or wherever. I don't know. It's crazy. But these honor killings typically, more often than not, happen because of the teachings of certain religions, in my opinion. The taxi one, those girls were absolutely beautiful. God. 2 sisters, complete utter opposites. God, they were so opposite down to their eye colors. One of them was light skinned with dark hair and blue eyes, and the other one was dark skinned with darker hair and green hazel eyes. I will never forget those children. Those girls were teenage girls just wanting to be teenage girls. And their father, his selfish, narcissistic, disgusting behavior, I mean, he just stole them, he did. All because they had boyfriends, all because he had plans for them. He was gonna trade them off for 2 cows and a gold nickel. Ain't it crazy though, how like certain religions that are extreme like that, on the flip side, they also take care of their loved ones? Those are the type of people that move their loved ones in and they live with their parents, and hell, they might have both in-laws living in the house with a wife and husband and grandkids. Ain't it crazy though? Very close-knit culture. I do respect that about other parts of the world, especially places like India. And what was it we were talking about? Is it China? The boy is expected to take on the parents. 2 cows. Hey, TJ. 2 cows and a golden nickel. Don't forget that golden nickel, or you don't get her hand in marriage. Or is it, who's paying the dowry? It's the guy that's supposed to be paying the... Oh, that's why he's trying to... Brooke. I'm fired. That's why he's trying to sell them. It's not funny, but I'm just an idiot. That's what's funny. That's why he's trying to sell them, for the dowry. He's going to make money. Y'all, how messed up. What time is it? So listen, everything went good. I'm talking too much. It's what I always do. Everything went good. I'm ready for next week. I'm just ready to get this crap out of the way, you know? So I got like 3 court dates next week. I swear to God, listen, this ain't even funny because it makes me look so bad, and that's what pisses me off. To stay out of trouble and get your life together like I have for the past 10 years, and then to have this stuff to come creeping up like I'm the problem. I'm just glad that I pulled out a camera, and I just wish that I would have done it sooner. Because it proves my point. It's crazy. Crazy. Yeah, I got 3 court dates. Probably. I don't know, not in India because they worship cows in India. Oh God, that's funny. Yeah, maybe in China, but not in India. Sorry. Ain't it India? I think it's India that they like. It is. Remember Fluffy, the heavyset guy that does the stand-up? He's a stand-up comedian. I love Fluffy. He's hilarious. I think he's got a new special out, if I'm not mistaken. I could be wrong. But he says that he went to India, and he says that the highways are just like trash. Like the infrastructure is just trash. Like it just looks so unsafe. He's like, you get in a car that's old as hell. It looks unsafe. It feels unsafe. There's no seatbelts type of thing, you know? It's like they're living in 1980 or 1960 again. And he's like, the freeway is crazy. There's all of these cars. This is one of the funniest stand-up things. And he talks about how there's a dead body in the street, and everybody's just driving around the dead body like it's nothing. Like it's just, it's a custom there. If there's a body in the street, everybody just make a new lane of traffic, go around, okay? Well, there comes a point where he's headed back to the airport in a taxi, and there's a cow in the street, and everybody just stops. Everybody stops the car and just shows respect to the cow. They're just going to wait for the cow to move. And he's like, well, what are we going to do? I got to get to the airport. And they're like, we don't know. The cow just set. It's hilarious. If you haven't seen that one, so funny. So I think it is, unless he's lying about how much they appreciate. I think that they're respected, like honored. Listen, where's my phone? Let me stop thinking and research. Jesus. Well, the Wi-Fi's back on, folks. Where's my phone? Oh, there it is. Y'all like my skirt? This is what I wore to my meetings. It's not too bad. It's not showing anything. I think it looks appropriate, don't you? Is it appropriate? Yeah, that was crazy. Y'all, we need to check the weather. I'm gonna die tonight. I need to get serious. I'm hee-hawing and I'm not thinking. It's gonna be 49 degrees. So listen, hear me out. So I guess I'm going to be able to, like, sleep here and run that heater. I've got to get everything out of here and stuff tomorrow because I had stuff, meetings, and all these court dates coming up. I didn't get to handle this today. So I guess the coldest night is going to be tonight, so that's good. Yeah, it's crazy. I sent these two, like, I don't want to say they're like halfway houses, but they're like women's transition houses. I sent them an email. They hit me back. One woman said that they got a waiting list that's like 3 years long. And she said that they've been getting more applications than ever. It's like a transition house. It's kind of like a halfway house, but it's not for drugs and alcohol. It's like a program to help women with it's like all of these people stay in the same house. And it is recovery based, but they have years of recovery. And it's like a rent reduced type of situation with multiple people sharing a place, kind of like a halfway house, but a little different. Yeah, it's crazy. I don't need an Oxford house. That would be really bad for me, actually, in my place in recovery. I've been clean for over half a decade. We don't really want people in recovery going around fresh addicts. It's not really smart. People, places, and things is going to be 90% of your recovery. And like, I know that they don't teach that, but that's also why people are not recovering. They're not geared in the right direction. That's part of what we do over here. This was nothing like an Oxford house or a halfway house. That's the same thing. An Oxford is a halfway and a halfway is an Oxford. But like the problem with those is that's become a modern scam too. You know, they're some of those places are thousands of dollars a week. I don't know who's got thousands of dollars a week for a halfway house, homie, or even hundreds. That's crazy. But just like every line of recovery, it's turned into a scam. Most rehabs are scams. They're not gearing the patient towards recovery because they need the patient to relapse to come back to make more money. It's the medical industry. Ain't the government just grand? It's not just the government, it's private facilities too. They do the same thing. They're even worse. They're charging $20,000, $30,000, $40,000, $50,000 a stay. Oh, God, anyone I've ever met that went to like Malibu rehab or treatment centers like that in Los Angeles, I've never known any of them to stay clean. Not a singular person. I had so many friends coming up, their parents would just fly them off to rehab. None of them stay clean. They relapse within usually a few months. They could usually hold out about 60 to 90 days before they relapse. So, yeah, that's unfortunate. That's depressing. We've looked at recovery stats over here before. It's really hard to get a definitive answer on how many people actually get clean and how many, you know, like your recovery chances or like your percentage of recovery chances. It's really hard to get a definitive answer. My dad went to an expensive place and did not stay clean. You know, sometimes it takes multiple times to get, hey, Destiny. Christopher, hello. Sometimes it takes a few times. It usually takes most addicts, you know, a half a dozen. It's different for everybody. One thing's for sure, they will relapse. I don't know how many times it's going to take them to get clean or if they ever will, but one thing's for sure, they're going to relapse. That's what addicts do, you know. It's unfortunate. I'm sorry about your dad, Brooke. That sucks. Is he sober now by any chance? 25 years sober. Congratulations, my Oz. That's another thing. People don't get enough celebration for their recovery, you know? What did I call it the other day? A sober-versary? A sober-versary. Yeah. 25. Happy sober-versary. Happy 25 sober-versary. There we go. We need to really, like, start congratulating people on staying clean. It really is crazy to me. Like, I had a mental health breakdown, like, 2 years ago when I fell into homelessness and I had to move into my truck. And, there was a nurse in the hospital. And she was like, so, how long have you been clean? And I was like, blah, blah, blah. At that point, it was like 3.5 years, something like that. And she was like, you should be so proud of yourself. Da 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 da. Y'all, I just burst out crying. Nobody had ever told me that. In 3 years of being clean, not one person was like, you should be proud of yourself. Or, you know, congratulations on kicking heroin. That's crazy. I'll never forget it. I bring that story up all the time. Like, it's crazy. But I really just want to, like, hone in on how just one person that I didn't even know, the kindness, was enough to give me faith in myself, you know? Some stranger that I did not know that met me in an ER said a few kind sentences to me, and it gave me enough faith in myself to continue on my journey of sobriety and focusing on my mental health. It's crazy. It's not, addicts, people that are struggling, they don't hear the positive shit enough. It's crazy, and just society just eats at their soul and just all negative. I ate a sandwich and I become all philosophical and shit. Imagine who I could be if I ate 3 meals a day. Jesus, sorry. Oh, thank you. Yeah. Lord have mercy, not at the AA meeting. Why even go? I couldn't do that. I mean, you got a problem. I couldn't do that. Why even go, Dad? Like, you're giving everybody anxiety now. You're making the whole scene hot. Listen, I've heard NA and AA can get, I've seen drug deals and stuff in the parking lots. Listen, I have raw dogged recovery. Like, I raw dogged life. Okay? I got clean on my own. I tried rehab several times. I tried court programs. I tried court probation ordered programs. I tried prison getting clean. I tried doing time and getting clean. Nothing worked. Because it was my environment that was keeping me strung out. It was what I was being subjected to that was keeping me strung out. So people, places, and things are 90% of people's recovery. If we can change people, places, and things, get them into a new environment, get them into community groups where they actually have people to lean on and not people that are just addicts. A lot of people come from families, generationally, they've done drugs. That's all they know. No medical professional is going to tell people that they need to cut ties with their mama or their daddy. But the truth is that if we want what's best for the patient, we need to, at the very least, give the patient this information so that they can make a decision themselves whether or not they want to focus on a treatment plan that focuses on cutting the toxic, changing people, places, and things, or if we need to focus on a treatment plan that is more geared towards working with what family and community resources, like the resources they currently have, and making the best out of that situation. Rehabs don't tell people what they need to tell them. They don't say the hard truths or the hard facts to their faces, just like churches tiptoe around God's word nowadays, and they put out stuff that appeases the masses rather than approaching tough subjects and talking about God's purpose for us all, So it's the same thing. Rehabs do not disclose certain things to patients that they absolutely should. They don't gear patients in the right direction. And patients don't get long enough treatment. That's one of my biggest concerns that I definitely would like to see change. But with the medical industry being what it is, patient care, they need, when they're coming in through detox, they need IVs, they need Gatorades, they need liquid Ensures. Their basic needs are not even being met. I mean, you can't even get a cup to get water in rehab. It's crazy. You have patients throwing up, having stomach issues, and you can't even give them a cup so that they can drink water. Yeah, it's sad. Hey, Miss GT, how's your night going? Hey, Phoenix Sky. I hope you're doing well. I like your picture. You look like a badass. I like your picture too, Jason. He was trying to trick everyone with his sneaky, but good now for always been good for a year now. So he's sober and she's kicking him out on the street. That sounds like what were we learning about? What's that new aggression or the antagonizing abuse that we just learned about yesterday? That sounds like weaponized abuse. No, when he would drink. Okay, so she wasn't kicking him out to like trigger him into a drinking episode. Okay, so he was drinking. Sorry, I'm like sweating. He would drink and then she'd have to kick him out. Yeah. I saw a Lawin, yeah, absolutely narcissistic when people are putting their wants and needs. Well, when it comes to addiction, it's a little different. I do think that addicts make poor decisions because of the drugs and alcohol that they're consuming. And it has a tendency to make the worst come out of them. Really. Sis quit drinking, but now her husband's drinking is evident. Lord, you got one of them sober, now the other one's drinking. Jesus Christ, it's a family crisis. Family crisis. That's so crazy, Stephanie. I'm sorry. Have y'all talked to him yet? Have y'all addressed him and set him down and did an intervention? Hey, bro, we just got her on track. We didn't even know you was a problem. Yeah. Oh, sorry, Jason. I just saw your message. I'm running my mouth. I could have answered that. I don't know. I don't know how. I couldn't have helped you even if I saw it. I'm empathetic because I know. I hear that. 11 years sober, so I understand. She's at her wit's end. Damn. They got kids. That just adds a whole nother layer. So sad. I'm glad he did, because I don't know how to tell you to do that either. Is there is there usually a little button that's I know the save a page button, but I don't see it on my screen. And I think YouTube should remodel this stuff over here. This there's all these buttons for the creator. It's a pain in the ass. Alright, y'all. I gotta go wash my face and get my life together. I think I want chocolate cake, but I kind of also want another sandwich. Hey, Anna. Yeah, I'm praying for you, Stephanie. That sounds hectic. Oh, thank you. I hope it goes well, too. I hope it goes well. Oh, blessings to you, Christopher. I appreciate that. Yeah, things are a little crazy right now. It is what it is. I guess we'll survive another day. I'm praying for you guys. Please pray for me. Y'all sweet dreams. Sleep well and sweet dreams. And we will talk tomorrow. Y'all be safe out there. And happy Monday. Bye, y'all. Thank you.